Hello and welcome to Premiership Glory. I'm Brittany Klein here at the spiritual home of rugby league in Queensland, Lang Park, where the NRL decider is expected to be held for the first time outside of Sydney. As we count down to the decider between the Rabbitohs and the Panthers, we hear from the King, the Master, the Apprentice and the man with the whistle. But first, around 13,000 ticket holders will no longer be able to attend the Grand Final after the Queensland Government imposed capacity restrictions. The stadium will now only be 75% full and all 39,000 people attending will have to wear masks. An increase in COVID cases in the state has led to the changes. The NRL says a first-in policy is being implemented, meaning it'll refund the final 25% of fans who bought tickets to the game.
It's going to be disappointing for people, but we have to take the health advice. The health advice is to move to stage 2. Stage 2 says 75% capacity. That's what it will be.
They're two of the league's most experienced coaches who've already had interesting battles this year. Jessica Stewart looks at the similarities and differences between Ivan Cleary and Wayne Bennett.
They have more than 1,200 games between them, although Bennett has coached considerably more. After all, he has been involved in the game for almost half as long as it's been around in Australia. On Sunday night, they'll meet for the first time in a decider. It was just 3 weeks ago when the sides last clashed, Bennett's Bunnies stunning the Panthers 16-10 in a semi-final boil-over.
South Sydney have turned this final series on its head.
A stoush between the coaches over influencing the referees simmered away in the build-up, and post-match it flared up again.
Do you think it was unfair that Wayne kind of at points insinuated Penrith are cheating?
I think the referees department spend way too much time going through complaints from coaches every week.
He was the one that come out and started mouthing off. So just get that in his right perspective. So if he's critical of himself.
But another war of words was quickly shut down after their respective victories last weekend.
It's over. We've both moved on, I'm sure, so I've moved on. I'm sure he has.
Wayne's the best. He's the best coach probably of all time.
The Grand Final will be Bennett's 10th as coach. He'll be aiming to win a remarkable 8th premiership. He's won 6 with Brisbane, 1 with the Dragons after coaching at 5 different NRL clubs. His coaching career started back in 1987 at Canberra.
The reasons I coached then are the same reasons I coach today. And when they change, then I won't coach anymore.
It's one of the great qualities about Wayne, the simple approach to big matches.
It's a sentiment echoed by Panthers halfback Nathan Cleary when talking about his dad and coach, Ivan. If Ivan leads the Panthers to a premiership, it'll be his first as coach after stints also at the Warriors and Tigers.
He's probably not the most technical, but he's definitely been really good at bringing us together, getting our mindsets right.
Only one will lift the trophy.
From the coaches to the players now, Jack Snape takes a look at the key matchups to watch.
Gio's going to score! He's going to put another nail in the coffin!
Just 7 years ago, Souths returned to the pinnacle of rugby league.
Sadler is chasing! Sadler has made the tackle of the day!
It's been 18 years for Penrith, long enough that the Panthers' next generation is too young to remember that success.
But there's no doubt they remember the Grand Final last year. Down 22 points at half-time, they clawed their way back but fell just short.
Shattered.
Star halfback Nathan Cleary threw a crucial interception that night. And though he quietened critics this year with a dominant State of Origin series, until he wins a premiership, there will be doubters.
If all goes to plan, he'll touch the ball more than 80 times on Sunday night.
Spending most of the game on the right, Cleary will take over as a fulcrum in the middle when the Panthers are close to the line. His presence brings out the best in electric 5'8" Jerome Luai and other homegrown backs, Stephen Crichton, Matt Burton, Brian To'o and Dylan Edwards. And watch out for Cleary's boot. His is the most powerful kick in the competition. It's set to test Rabbitohs rookie Blake Taaffe at fullback. He's just 7 games into his career and has made some spectacular catches so far, but also some drops, including this one from a towering Cleary bomb 3 weeks ago.
Taaffe may be green, but in front of him are the Rabbitohs' wily veterans.
Halfback Adam Reynolds will play his last game for the club before leaving for Brisbane. Together with nimble hooker Damien Cook, he'll create a platform for playmaker Cody Walker to concoct the spectacular. This spine has taken Souths to 4 straight preliminary finals, but this is the group's first grand final together. Walker has recorded more try assists than anyone else in the competition this season, and most have come down the left-hand side. He's a master at reading the defence, evading on-rushing tacklers and playing the right pass.
Oh, what a pass!
And then there's Benji Marshall. The 36-year-old is playing in his second grand final, 16 years after his first when the Tigers beat the Cowboys. Rather than the scintillating runner from back then, he now acts as a ball player off the bench, typically coming on late in the first half to organise the attack through the middle. Benji's team managed to upset the Panthers in the first week of the finals, forcing Penrith to go through minor premier Melbourne last weekend. But there'll be no second chances on Sunday.
Will Queensland's first grand final deliver victory for South's established entertainers looking to take that final step? Or is this the moment the Penrith Panthers side transforms from exciting effervescence into simply the best?
It's known as the Cauldron, where home teams love to play and away teams struggle to win. But what makes Lang Park so special? Who better to ask than the man immortalised here? Jessica Stewart spoke with Wally Lewis.
Well, I'm here at Lang Park with the King himself, and while this venue, it's going to be a special weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It is one of those grounds, I guess, very few other venues in the world are like this one here. If you're on the home side, you can be virtually guaranteed success. They get you home in the tough times. The outside noise from the grandstands here will make sure that it's very difficult to hear each other.
What's your fondest memory at this venue?
My greatest moment at this place was playing my first game for State of Origin for Queensland.
Lewis taking it up himself. He's got the pass to Curry. Curry will score.
The noise that came out of it was something quite exceptional. And my last State of Origin game for Queensland, where I said farewell and thank you to the crowd for providing such wonderful assistance to the players. They knew when we were doing it tough. They knew when we were struggling. They knew when we needed support. And to get it from them often made life very difficult for the New South Wales opposition.
Is when you're in the kind of race ready to come out, is there a feeling quite like it, or is there a way you could sum it up for someone that's not going to get to ever experience that except for those 2 teams next Sunday night?
Yeah, just about every teammate I've played alongside out there agree that when you walk down the tunnel to go out in the ground, that's when you feel your heart pumping. By the time that the players get out there and they bind together just before kick-off, they promise to give each other as much assistance as possible, because it's one of those games, one of those grounds that ensures that you have to be at your best if you're going to win that match.
Relocating the NRL to Queensland meant the women's competition was postponed until early next year. I caught up with the Titans' marquee signing Tasman Gray, who says the historic Queensland decider is bittersweet for local players.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing that the NRLW didn't go ahead, but at the same time I'm really excited to obviously have a grand final here. The NRL have done a great job to keep the men's comp alive and to have our Golden State be able to represent ourselves, and to have the grand final here is second to none.
How disappointing was it that the 2021 season couldn't go ahead, especially given it was the Titans' first year in the competition?
Yeah, it was a bit of a bittersweet. Obviously, being told that we can't play our season out was really hard for me personally. But at the same time, obviously, it gives us an opportunity to spend more time with our families, and obviously now we just have to focus on the task at hand to come into next year prepared and ready as best we can.
Do you feel like the NRL offered enough support during the extended off-season?
Yes and no, but at the same time, I think for me, I can only personally speak for myself. Obviously, there's a lot of other girls that are in a worse off position than me, but for me personally, I just want to spend this time to focus on myself, on my family, get myself prepared for what is to come, because obviously next year's a big season.
How do players want to see the NRLW grow into the future?
I think we just want security and respect and for the game that we play, and obviously full-time contracts would be great for all of us to be stable and to be set and to know what we can do and what we can't do, kind of thing. So for me, yeah, personally, it would just be stability around where we're going, how long our contracts are, and obviously if the money fits that, then that's perfect.
So how is this stadium preparing for the big game? Organisers say they're ready for their grand final moment.
It has been very intense, and in saying that, we're not complaining, but it has been relentless. There's been so much effort. It's not only the event staff, but it's the catering staff. There's a lot of activations that are being put in place by the NRL, a lot of building works, a lot of seats coming out, seats going back in.
9 for Andrew Fafita tonight.
With the two events like the State of Origin and the Magic Round, that gives us a really good insight as to what it's going to be for Grand Final Day. It's quite a bit of stock. We're looking at 10 tonne of chips, about 7,000 or 8,000 serves of pastries, plus all our proteins and meals. And soft drinks will be, anywhere north of 18,000 units, so it'll be quite a bit of stock.
This is for our spring rolls. We're making about 10,000 of those for the event.
First time we've hosted the grand final. Is there anything specifically Queensland on the menu?
Yeah, there is. It's the Queensland prawns is one of the big ones we've got on the menu. We've got about one tonne of fresh Queensland prawns. Come Sunday, we'll be going through about 10 tonne of food. Oysters and bugs. We've got all the party pies we've made in-house. There's about 500 kilo of Longreach organic lamb. Some of the team have been together for about 15 years and we never dreamt this would happen in our lifetime, so it's a special occasion for us all.
I say to my kids and a lot of my mates, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I can't see it coming back to Brisbane, but I certainly hope it does. So we're all very excited to say that we were there on the day.
As a passionate Queenslander growing up loving rugby league, I don't think you could have a greater wish than to have the NRL Grand Final in your backyard.
From behind the scenes to on the field now, there is one man hoping for a quiet game, and that's the man with the whistle. He's the man in charge, Gerard Sutton, refereeing his 7th NRL decider. All 3 State of Origin matches this year are also on his resume, but even the veteran official admits nerves will be a factor on Sunday night.
I think I'd be concerned if I wasn't nervous. It doesn't matter how many times you've been there or what you think the game's going to present. It's a huge occasion. I think we always know there's going to be some focus on the match officials, and we're out there to do the best we possibly can, and we'll be doing everything possible to ensure that it's about the players. Every game there's always decisions that are debatable or contentious. We review every game really closely.
Sutton came under fire for this kick in last week's Penrith-Melbourne preliminary final. You can see where the Panthers' Brian To'o scored the try. Fans weren't happy with the difference of where Nathan Cleary attempted to convert.
I think the reality is with 16 cameras, we're never going to be perfect, but we're always looking to improve, and that'll be no different this week. That's part of the privilege of being part of it, is to have that pressure. Pressure comes with the expectation of you doing a good job.
And the final word goes to fans. Many are getting their first taste of grand final action.
It'll be fun to watch because it'll be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, we've been really lucky. We've got to go to some home games that we wouldn't normally get to go to, being that we're here in Queensland.
At least we can see them. We can say going down to Sydney,
I've got like butterflies in my tummy. I'm nervous, but hopefully it's going to be a great turnout.
This is a landmark thing for South Sydney, for NRL, especially for Suncorp with the Magic Round, every single State of Origin being played here as well. It's just an unbelievable dream come true.
Where else but Queensland?
I know, right?
Thank you very much. You made my day. You made my life. I love you very much.
What do you think it'll be like watching them play here at Brisbane Glen Park?
The best atmosphere. I love it.
There's so many Panthers fans here. So good to see.
The most Panthers games we've been to up here, there's been way more Panthers fans, for sure.
Go Panthers!
Yay! That's all for Premiership Glory. Thanks for your company and enjoy the game.
Fans rejoice comprehensively here.